Hi everybody, Steve here in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm here at Memorial Park Cemetery, standing in front of, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like something out of Disneyland. It's a fantasy mountain. It's called the Crystal Shrine Grotto. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I had never heard about it until I was planning this trip here to Memphis. You can see the sign here. I really do feel more like I'm in a theme park than a cemetery. This is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Have any of you been here before? Have any of you seen anything this cool in a cemetery before? I don't think I have.
Thanks for joining me on another trip to visit the most memorable cemeteries, memorials, and gravesites.
This was created back in 1938 and have been placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. It's hard to believe this was built in 1938. And look at this. Doesn't this look like it's one of the rides at Disneyland? And this is in the center of this cemetery. And my hotel just happens to be down the street. It was kind of another happy accident.
There are also lots of famous people buried here, but I'm going to visit them in a separate video.
Okay, so let's go inside and I'll show you. It's early in the morning, but they've already got all the lights on and everything.
This cave has a religious theme to it, but you definitely don't have to be religious to appreciate and enjoy walking around this really incredible man-made cave or grotto.
Okay, so there's a book here where you can sign your name. Now this grotto is full of crystals. I mean, huge crystals. Look at this, how beautiful this is. And they're all lit up. This really does remind me of the stalactites and stalagmites at Carlsbad Cavern when I was there as a kid.
And right inside the door here to the left is a sign that tells you a little bit about the reason for this cave. It's pretty dimly lit, so I'll read it to you.
It says, if your visit through this sacred crystal shrine grotto, featuring Christ's journey on earth from birth to resurrection, has elevated your spiritual thoughts, stimulated a deeper reverence for the founder of Christianity, and created a desire to be a good Samaritan to your neighbor, you will be happier on the way to that glorious, unending life, and the builder's efforts will be well served. Well said. Not a lot of good Samaritans these days. We could definitely use more. That's for sure. Gosh, I wonder how long it took him to create this. I'm glad they do have the lights on though. The manger scene, the nativity. Gosh, so many details. This is just so beautiful. Jesus in the temple. I love all the lights. This reminds me so much of Carlsbad Cavern when I went on a road trip with my grandparents back in the 1960s. That was so beautiful and so memorable. I loved the caverns. I'm guessing the creator of this had also visited. Sermon on the Mount by David Day, 1978. Wow, look at those crystals. Really dark, beautiful crystals. The Raising of Jairus' Daughter by David Day. And if I'm mispronouncing anything, just let me know in the comments section. I'm sure I am. I usually do. The Transfiguration by David Day. Kind of a different style, both of these last two. Zacchaeus up a tree? Yeah, I'm not really sure about that that story. The Last Supper. The Crucifixion by Dominicio A Rodriguez, 1936. So I guess a couple of these were from, back when this was created. And then David Day filled in the rest, or not sure, but it's really so interesting.
The plaque is too dimly lit to read, but this has to be the resurrection.
Have any of you ever seen anything like this in a cemetery before? I'm guessing not. I certainly haven't. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a cemetery.
I did visit the catacombs in Paris back in 1990, and this was before they had any lights, and you had to bring your own flashlight. It was a completely different experience than this, for sure.
This is really just hard to believe that someone had a vision to do this. So can you believe this? This is really so impressive. I just can't even imagine how long this must have taken to create, and what an imagination, and these crystals are so beautiful. I mean, just finding all these crystals, I wonder, I'd love to know the story. I'm going to have to look this up I'm going to have to Google this later. I didn't really realize it would be this impressive. When I heard about it being here, I knew I wanted to come and see it, but I didn't know it was going to be so incredible. So let me know if any of you have been here before, and if you haven't, what do you think of this? Okay, so let's go and see what's on the outside here. This tree trunk, this incredible fantasy-like tree trunk, looks like it's made of cement. Okay, so let's walk through this. So just think, if you were someone who didn't really like to visit cemeteries, and you were in Memphis, and you never came here, so how much you would be missing by not seeing something as cool as this. Oh, okay, so this is, it's called Abraham's Oak. Let me read this. The field of Machpelah. Oh boy, I'm not so great with these some of the names of these from these stories. The trees in the cave at the end of the field were purchased by Abraham on the death of his wife Sarah as a family burial place nearly 4,000 years ago. Near the cave of Machpelah stood an old stump named for the founder of the Hebrew nation, Abraham's Oak. And this, I guess, was created by Senor Dionisio Rodriguez, a descendant of the artistic Aztec race of Mexico, has produced this historic stump entirely of concrete reinforced with steel and copper bar so as to ensure its existence for many centuries to come. And I was just wondering where Dionisio Rodriguez was buried, and I think I found it. It says sculptor, builder, artist, creator of the historic Crystal Shrine Grotto. His body rests in San Fernando Cemetery. Oh, in Texas. Okay. In San Antonio, Texas. Well, that's kind of weird. It's like, why isn't he buried here? Well, these geese just came up behind me and startled me. I guess maybe I startled them. I think I was blocking the entrance to their morning swim. So look at this. Oh, so this is cement too. Gosh, this looks really real. It looks like wood. Well, maybe it is. No, it is. Okay, that's interesting too. Beware of snakes. I wouldn't expect snakes to be found here, but I'm not familiar with Memphis. Dominicio Rodriguez, for some reason, he's not buried here. He's buried in San Antonio, Texas, probably where he was born. A lot of people prefer to return to the place where they were born when they're buried. Let's go see who this might be. Wow. Another very cool mausoleum. Cave of Macphala. Boy, let me know how this is pronounced if you know. Cave of Macphala. Now this one is locked. It looks very ancient. I could see inside, and it's hard to tell if there's a real crypt there or crypts.
Earlier, when I arrived and drove through the front gates of the cemetery, I didn't notice that on the right-hand side of the gates, there's an historic marker or plaque that describes the Crystal Shrine Grotto. The sign reads, "A unique cave was constructed by Memorial Park founder Clovis Hinds and Mexican artist Dominicio Rodriguez in 1935 to 1938. Natural rock and quartz crystal collected from the Ozarks form the background for 9 scenes from the life of Christ. The cave and environs were built of concrete in imitation of rocks, boulders, and trees. This naturalistic art recreates links with history and literature." And it turns out that the founder of this memorial park, Clovis Hinds, is buried just inside the front gates to the left at the top of the hill. He's located in his own circular section, which is easy to find. So this explains how this labor of love came to be more than 80 years ago.
As always, thanks for joining me today, everybody. Thanks for sharing the memories.
If you like this video, you might also want to check out the videos displayed here. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I upload future videos like these.